Hey everybody, I'm Christina and welcome to this video. This is part of our Student CEO Success series. And in this video, we're going to look at a few assignment tips. We're going to look at APA citations. We're also going to look at what is a grading rubric and how you can be successful at your assignments in class. All right, so I've got a slide deck that I'm going to share with you, and then I'll be back at the end so we can chat a little more. All right. So like I said, we're going to talk about assignment tips in this video. Again, I'm Christina Wooten. I'll be the instructor for your class this term. And so let's take a look at what we're going to cover today. So we're going to help you get comfortable with how to create assignments for a college class. For some of you, you may be returning to college after a long absence. Some of you, maybe like me, learned to make your assignments on an actual typewriter. And some of you, you may be coming straight from high school. And so in high school, they do things a little bit different than we do in college. So wherever you are, the purpose of this video is to help you get comfortable. It's going to also offer some tips and some success strategies. I always believe that once you know the rules of the game, so to speak, you can play within those rules. I'm going to also briefly discuss the APA style and citation requirements. Now, if that is new to you, or if you're like, I think I heard about that 20 years ago, but I don't remember it, don't worry. I've got some resources in our class. We also have our tutors on campus that can help you. And if you have specific questions, I'm always happy to help. And then finally, this is going to introduce you to the grading rubric. Maybe that's a weird word. Maybe you don't know what that is, but at the end of this video, you will know. All right, first things first. In each of my classes, I provide what's called an assignment schedule. And what this does is it divides out every week of the term and it shows you what to read and what is due. This is super important and a spot that if you don't pay attention to it, it can trip you up a little bit. So let's say in our summer term, for example, those are 8 weeks, and we cover 11 weeks of material in 8 weeks. So summer term is an accelerated term. It's really important to take that assignment schedule and map those assignments out, whether you use a paper calendar, like I'm kind of old school, I still use a paper calendar, or whether you use a calendar in your phone or on your computer, however you decide to plan your time out. Make sure you look at this assignment schedule and map those deadlines. Plot them out on your calendar so that you make sure that you stay on top of things. In a regular term, we have 11 weeks. Generally, we cover 1 to 2 chapters a week. And so it's a little bit easier and more manageable in the fall, winter, and spring terms for students. But in summer, it seems like that's it's a little bit tougher because things are squished into 8 weeks. So just a little tip there. Okay. How about success in assignments? So writing assignments in college require you to do what we call academic writing. I typically focus in my assignments in class on how are you going to be expected to write in the real world? Okay. So, first of all, in your writing assignments, you want to make sure you do an introduction. This builds context with your reader. Generally, you can open up with what the prompt is asking you to do. You can add your insight, your reflection, and then bring in some course material references just to that introduction. So, that kind of sets the tone for what you're going to do in the paper. Then you'll use APA citations, in-text citations, and we'll have an example of that in just a few slides. You also want to bring in course material as you're summarizing, paraphrasing, or directly quoting. Now, what you don't want to do in assignments is just write your opinion, like, I think this or I believe this. That's great, but that's just your opinion. What you want to do is substantiate your opinion, your insight, or your experience with what you've learned through the course materials or through your own research. Now, there are many resources available to you. First of all, we have an APA reference guide in our class. I've also linked Purdue OWL, which is their online writing library. This is a phenomenal reference resource for you. Their website is chock full of great tips, great lessons, mini lessons, longer lessons. I encourage you to look at that if you need a refresher on writing. You also will have my feedback. And generally, my feedback is going to go along with what's called the grading rubric. We'll look at that in just a moment. So I encourage you to look at your feedback every week as you do the assignments. That feedback is going to help you improve your submissions over time. It's kind of like at work, if you have a job or when you graduate, you'll get a job, and your boss or your supervisor might provide you feedback on ways you can do things better. That's precisely how I do my feedback. And my hope is that you read that feedback, you implement it, and then in the future, your score is higher. And finally, we have our RCC Tutoring Center, and they are available to you online, in person, and over Zoom. So it's very student centered, it's very student friendly. You can get help with your writing. If you get feedback on an assignment and you want to have them help you, maybe you need a refresher on making, complete sentences. Maybe you need a refresher on using an APA reference in your writing. Our tutors are there to help you. Okay, now let's talk about how do we start an assignment? In my classes, most assignments have what I call an assignment sheet. So I would encourage you to download the assignment, look at the submission requirements, and then decide, what do I need to be on the lookout for as I'm reading, as I'm looking at the course materials? I personally always look at the assignment before I start doing the reading or watching the videos or looking at the course materials. The reason I do that, this is like a success tip for you. If you look at that assignment, then you know, okay, this assignment is going to be about the impact of communication tools in the field of human relations. Whatever that assignment is, if you look at it ahead of time, it's going to help kind of gear your brain toward what do we need to be looking for. In many assignments in my classes, I give you a template for your submission. Now, the reason I do that is to support you. Using that template will allow you to make sure you've hit all the pieces of the requirements so that you can earn a good score on the assignment. And then, of course, make notes as you go along. So you've looked at the assignment, you've got the template, and as you're reading, as you're watching your videos, as you're looking at the course materials, you're just going to make those notes as you go along. Then you'll take those notes and you'll create your actual assignment where you've written it. Now, this is the structuring of the assignment. So you'll structure your assignments to make sure you meet those guidelines by using the template. Don't just start typing a stream of consciousness. Lots of students will do the reading and then they'll just start typing. And they'll say, I think this and I believe this, and lots of opinion in there. Use of your personal experience is fine. However, you want to draw in course material to substantiate that experience. That is part of being a college student, and critically thinking, doing analysis work. That's part of what's required here. Okay, let's talk about APA formatting. So what I've got here is just a total sample of what an APA format might look like. You have your headings, so those are the ones in bold: introduction, topic 1, topic 2, conclusion, and references. Perhaps perhaps my topic 1 is communication in the human relations field. Perhaps topic 2 is handling conflict in human relations. And then I would have some subtopics that I want to cover. So structuring your assignment using this format is a really good strategy to help you kind of think through, what do I want to show in this assignment? How do I want to demonstrate my mastery, my understanding of the topic, and my ability to critically think and analyze what I'm learning? And at the very last piece, your references, you'll use an APA citation. And I'll have a sample citation of our text in either the syllabus or in our week 1 announcement. Okay, let's talk about those in-text citations. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. You might want to do a direct quote. Maybe there's something in the reading or in one of the pieces of course material that you thought just really hammered the point home and really substantiates your opinion or your experience. You would use a direct quote for that. So you would say, according to, I'm going to say the author here is Smith's, and then the published year is 2010. Then you would put the direct quote So that's one way to do an in-text citation. A second way is to make a summary or paraphrasing what was in the material. And you want to be careful with this because summary doesn't mean copy and paste, nor does paraphrase. So you might need to reference back to your business writing class if you forgot how to do that, or our RCC tutors can help you out with summary and paraphrasing. In this example, you would say, according to Schmidt's 2010, the impact of communication tools on human resources has been, and then you would put what you summarized or how you paraphrased what Schmidt said about those communication tools. Now, one thing that is very important is if you have large blocks of direct quotes in your paper, you will not earn full credit. The assignments in a college level class are not about your ability to copy and paste quotes to answer a question. What I'm looking for and what you should demonstrate is your ability to read material or watch videos and analyze it, critically think about it, and then type up what your thoughts are with that substantiated material from the course materials. So again, we're not looking for blocks of text to answer a question. We're looking for how did you synthesize? How did you analyze this material? How do you critically think about it? What does it mean to you in your future career? Now, if you've got questions about that, that's kind of making you scratch your head a little bit, if it doesn't make sense, please schedule an appointment to chat with me. I'm happy to talk you through any pieces of the assignments. All right, now the next thing we'll talk about is called a grading rubric. That is a strange word, yes. The rubric is shown for each assignment and discussion post, and it's basically to help you ensure that you meet the criteria to demonstrate your knowledge, your understanding, and your grasp of the course material. And I've got an example here in the slides. So the way a rubric works is there are criteria in that very first column, and then across the top, there are the levels of mastery. So in this example for this rubric, we have the criteria of content. You can earn up to 5 points on this one. And the categories are does not meet, developing, proficient, and exemplary. So if you're a student who has that mindset of, I have to get a 4.0, I have to get 100%, I have to get an A plus on everything. If that's you, that's cool. You need to be looking at that exemplary category, and that's how you need to build your assignments. So sometimes students have that mindset of, if I don't get an A plus, like nothing matters. If that's you, look at the exemplary category. For everyone else, you can look and see like, okay, have I been proficient in my demonstration of my understanding? Have I made direct connections to the material? Is my writing free of distracting spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors? So you can see, I'm kind of giving you the how to make an A or how to make whatever score you want. That's what the rubric is for you. If ever you have a question about the rubric, of course, you're welcome to reach out. I'm happy to chat with you. My feedback for assignments will be based on these rubrics. Okay, folks, so here we are. We're at the end. I would love for you to reach out for support. The way to contact me is listed in our course syllabus. It's in our Blackboard shell. So if you ever have questions, you are welcome to reach out to me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you in any way that I can. I'm really looking forward to an amazing term together. I hope that this CEO Success Series video has been helpful to you, and I look forward to reading your writing. Okay, folks, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.